Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
A real program that had 10 Aggies drafted in the NFL draft, 10, a school record, also tied with Alabama this year. Welcome into TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Taking the show on the road, OB. We are at the Aggieland FCA Golf Classic at Traditions, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes Golf Tournament. This one is a competitive golf, with ministry supporting camp scholarships and staff. We'll be talking about it throughout the program. Hopefully get some good guests on here. I know a lot of people are playing in the afternoon, so we'll see if we can get them as they are rolling in to Traditions. Good morning, Obi.
Good morning, David.
How are you, bud?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, you look good.
It's good to be out here.
Well, you know what's really good?
What?
Aggie baseball.
Boy, it is.
How about taking another series, man?
Spectacular. Man, those guys are so much fun to watch.
We are. Fifth consecutive series.
And that's a good team to beat on the road.
With really good pitching.
Yeah, really good pitching.
The thing that I found to be interesting.
Okay.
I don't know if interesting is the right word. The thing that caught my attention, how about that?
All right.
They didn't win the Friday game, which to me in the SEC, that Friday game kind of sets the tone, right? And from that Friday game on, they dismantled the Gators.
You know, and I'm going to say this, and it's going to be ironic because I think they didn't have as big a scoring output as they often have on Game 3. But you know, I always feel good about A&M in Game 2 with Aiden Sims pitching.
Yep.
And then in Game 3 with that lineup going against the opponent's third pitcher.
Sure.
And like I said, they didn't get the run production overall that they typically or they often get on Sunday, but you know
they got the pitching.
But they got the pitching, and and when they did hit, it was pretty impressive. So
I believe they score. Florida scores 9 runs in the first game.
Yeah.
Okay. But from that point, and I think A&M outscored them overall 15-14 in the series. Not that that really matters, but it lets you know what the pitching did in the second 2 games.
The starting pitching was good. The relief pitching was good. Sometimes a little bit, especially Saturday, holding your breath a little bit. But, all's well that ends well. They came in and maybe on Saturday, I don't think Lyons was as sharp as he was on Sunday, but he's really good on Sunday. And, Freshcore came in and held it down. But
look, they're thin in the bullpen, right? And they're asking those guys to do a lot.
I think the guys that, I don't know how thin they are, right? But I know that the guys that are coming in and pitching are typically pitching pretty well. And they're getting there.
What I mean by thin is that like Florida and LSU could continuously send different guys to the mound that they feel comfortable with. A&M's got like a few dudes that they're counting on to do a lot of work. And that's why we saw Freshcorn and Lyons back-to-back days pitching as much. What did Freshcorn do on Saturday? Like 36 pitches, I think it was.
Yeah.
So, but regardless, the production is there. The wins are there.
Yeah, and the pitching's getting better steadily, and of course the lineup is just so many mashers. The home runs on Saturday were sights to behold.
Yeah, 450 plus.
Yeah, I saw that. We all saw it. Jordan Wilson hit his home run. And they said it was 415 feet. I'm like, man, you need to
recalculate
you need to get
that.
your tape measure looked at that, because that had to be 450. And then what was it? Grohovic hit the top of the batter's eye.
I mean, how about that dude? Like, I mean, we knew he was great, right? But this tear he's been on the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's making a big push for SEC Player of the Year.
Aiden Sims in Game 2 strikes out 780 pitches, 8-0. 6 of his 7 strikeouts came in the first couple of innings.
I was surprised they took him out when they did. But, again, everything worked out. So, whatever it takes to win. But, yeah, he was pitching well. And I think he had one inning where wasn't bad, just wasn't great. I thought, okay, he's going to pitch him until he gives up a hit or something. But, again, all the moves turned out to work. And, man, like I said, they're just so much fun to watch. I used to never watch college baseball, and I started getting interested in it the year that they went to the College World Series. The
21.
Schlossnagle.
Yeah.
When I was
You covered that run.
Cover it, and I started really enjoying it more. And just this team, though, is really, I mean, it's really fun to watch. When you got guys like Jordan Wilson and Bear Harrison.
Bear Harrison again. Yeah. And Nico, like.
And how about Terrence Keel on, I guess it was Saturday, scores from first. It was a hit and run, but scores from first on a single. Man, they have so many ways to beat you.
Yeah, they do. They have different ways to beat you. And I think, we've been saying this the last couple of weeks, but with every series win closer to the end of the season with 3 series left, they are legit solidifying their case for a national seed. What do they have? So they got 3 series left. They got 9 games. And the feeling is you get 17 wins, 18 gets you in. I mean, again, this is all a theory, right? There's no guaranteed. Yeah, you win 8. But the feeling overall is you get the 17, 18 wins, you're going to host and be a national seed. Well, that means they got to win 3 or 4 more games out of their next 9.
Now, I was talking to the great Nick Savage earlier, and he said 5. Give me 5 more. Go 5 and 4 from here on out, and you're definitely hosting. And I'm not going to argue with Nick Savage.
Yeah, I mean,
but it may be less than that. Like you said, it might be 3 or 4.
But remember when we were saying, and it wasn't that long ago, B, they got to get to 15 wins, to feel really good.
To be in.
Right, to feel really good about being in. They are 1 game under that right now.
And that's only because they had one rained out.
Right.
I believe.
They would have been there.
I believe they were going to sweep.
There it is.
Those cows.
Yeah. But you mentioned Jory and Gavin, huge weekends. It's the 5th consecutive series win for the Aggies, and first series win in Gainesville since 2006, and the first ever at that ballpark.
Wow. Just checking boxes left and right, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. So,
and you know what? And this is not meant to come off as criticism, because every player, no matter how good they are, no matter how great they are, they have some peaks and valleys. But to go in and win the series on the road against a really good Florida team, and I think you got 1 hit all weekend out of Caden Sorrell.
Yeah.
Again, and that's not a knock on Caden. Look, if anybody's earned an off week, it's that guy. But that just underscores again how lethal that lineup is.
Yeah. So now you get Tarleton on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then the Auburn series, right?
Auburn.
And
Auburn coming to town. They're good. They're all good.
Well, yeah. These young men, though, this A&M baseball program deserves maybe not the hostile environment that was the Texas series, but it deserves that kind of buzz. Let's make Blue Bell that. I mean, it already is the best environment, but let's continue that environment because these young men deserve it.
Yeah, I think there's continues to be a growing. Lack of a better word, just excitement, building toward this crescendo, right?
Right.
I think with each series that look, A&M always supports baseball well, but it's just growing. It's growing into a monster.
Yeah.
Kind of like that right fielder's a monster.
How about that arm?
that we all know what we're talking about. That was incredible.
Out.
That's almost not fair. He's from another planet, I think.
Yeah.
His planet exploded, and his parents put him in ship, and he landed in College State. He landed in Hollettsville, and now he's here.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. So they just, look, one series at a time. That's what they've been doing. Don't look too far ahead. But there was a conversation that was had, and it's very similar to the 22 team. Is it sustainable? Here's the thing. That offense, they just do what they do. And then on a weekend where I thought the offense was good, right? I mean, obviously you mashed 4 home runs on Saturday. Your offense was good. But it wasn't these ridiculous numbers that we got used to. The pitching was really the story.
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday.
Well, even the pitching was the story for Florida on Friday.
Yeah.
Look, for that, no matter how good your lineup is, there's going to be some games where, somebody just misses hitting a hanging curve and things like that and pops it up, or your opponent is going to have a pitcher who is just on. You're not going to go out and score 9 runs every game. But really, you score 7, you should probably win. And then 5, your pitching was on. So that's what's really exciting about this team is when you see them, the pitching start to continue to get better.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be great, but it was pretty dang good.
It was pretty dang good. Yeah, you're exactly right. This is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Raleigh Insurance Studio that we took with us to Traditions Golf Course, and by taking it with us, we took some cameras and some lights and some laptops. And we thought we'd call this area, at least while OB's here, the Holistic Planning
Cool Zone, because the Cool Zone travels.
It does travel.
And this is pretty cool out here, by the way.
It is cool, and it's not that hot right now, right? It's perfect. It's
very
like
cool.
the Holistic Planning Cool Zone really took care of us here.
It's very holistically planned, yeah.
Yeah. That's if you want to be a part of the conversation, you can do it a couple different ways. One way is to call us on the
Puppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline.
I forgot that phone number.
It's 979-693-1150.
If we want to text the show, we got to switch the name, and we call it
the Catalyst Pure Performance Energy text line.
That number is also 979-693-1150. Let's go around the room. We go left to right. We go behind the glass. And today, Cade Bickham is hanging out in good old TexAgs offices. Good morning, Cade.
Good morning. How are you guys?
That was one of the worst good mornings I've ever heard. Good morning. Like, what is this, Beavis and Butthead? Is there a delay, Cade? Can you hear us?
No, I can hear you. No, Beavis and Butthead, good reference. I'm not personally familiar enough to get that reference, so, but I do understand.
Really?
I mean, it was 30 years ago, OB. We're old. And I didn't watch that show either.
I watched it every time.
I know, because you watched Family Guy, you watched all those cartoons.
Yeah, it was perfect for my sense of humor.
Yeah,
for sure.
Kate, tell us something good.
Well, I was just really impressed with the way that, like you guys were, with the way the A&M bounced back in that series against Florida. And also, how about the Aggies? 10 draft picks, 10 NFL draft picks. I believe 3 in the second round, 3 in the third round. So 7 on the first 2 days. That's just a real testament to what Mike Elko and company are building across the street here.
Development. We'll spend a lot of time on that in the next segment. But yeah, OB, it's exactly what he said about a year ago. He said
we got about 10 guys.
Yeah,
they could be drafted, and they did.
I think this year he wasn't ready to go all in on a number.
Not yet, and I didn't even ask him for the number. I'm just wondering how good you think it is. But I bet you this time next year we'll be talking about quite a few.
7 to 10.
Why not?
Why not? Do we have Haley Dorsey at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center? Haley, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I can't hear you. What's up?
I'm like assistant directing, and then I just ran in here because I was like, I don't know if they're going to come to me or not. But.
So, my bad.
No, you're good. I'm doing both, so I ran in here in case that y'all were going to come to me. But let's talk about softball as well. Texas A&M softball dropped an SEC road series against number 24 South Carolina. Game 1, the Aggies fell 3-1, dropping a 9-game win streak, unfortunately. But Maya Perez hit her 17th home run and extended her on-base streak to 50 straight games. Game 2 was an opportunity to bounce back, and the Aggies secured the tight 2-1 win. Sydney Lessentine threw another complete game, and Michaela Wark hit her 48th career home run. And then Sunday, A&M just couldn't close it out, and South Carolina took the series. But they look to play the co-SEC champions, Oklahoma, this weekend before starting the SEC tournament next week.
Yeah, OB, they didn't win this series. They've been playing so good. Tough. We knew this was going to be a tough matchup, but they still have played so well, especially, the last 5 weeks? They've played really good. Great softball.
Yeah, and we say this, it really applies to every sport. You play any team, but especially a ranked team on the road, you just can't expect to win. You can, I'll take that back. You can expect to win, but you just can't take it for granted.
Yep. Dorsey, what else?
Well, we also had some basketball transfer portal additions this weekend. McNeese guard Tyshawn Archie, he averaged 14.3 points, 1.91 rebounds, and 2.9 assists. He was 43.3% from field goal. And then also adding LMU forward Jalen Shelley, he averaged 13.7 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 2.7 assists, and was 45.7% from field goal range. So those were great additions this weekend. And I know the portal's closed, but they could keep adding some more. So we'll hope to see Bucky keep working in the portal.
Appreciate that. Great stuff, Haley. OB, when it comes to Jalen Shelley, we'll talk to Luke about it tomorrow, but 6'8", 13-6. I mean, they wanted to add some size. They wanted to add a little bit of muscle, and they certainly did that.
I hope the Loyola man,
sorry, I just
he's 210, 6'8", 210. Yeah. So he's a little bit slender, but I think I'm wanting it all, and
you're so selfish.
But what they're putting together, you compare to last year, and you'd see some players say, okay, all right, well, he's doing what he can. Excuse me. I mean, he's getting some guys that have excelled. Like I saw the Archie kid play for McNeese.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a heck of a basketball player there.
A year ago today-ish, whatever the Monday was, we were doing the show from
I don't know.
Traditions.
Oh, okay.
And it was the day after the NFL draft.
Yeah.
And it's the same weekend that they penciled and signed Marcus Hill. So just a little bit of the more you know, a year ago, and that ended up being a really nice signing. So hopefully these guys have that kind of contribution and much more.
Yeah, I'm just looking for that, and maybe they have him, I just don't understand it. But I'm looking for that guy that can score so consistently for you inside.
Yeah.
Replace Aggie.
Yeah, I agree. Let's hit a break here. I want you to think about food.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about it.
But I want you to think about a sandwich. Right? That's where I want you to think about.
Yeah.
And then you fill it in with whatever you want to fill it in, OB.
Well, I want to fill that sandwich in with that 1775 brisket.
Yeah.
Because it's amazing. It's the best chopped beef or not sliced beef sandwich, brisket sandwich I've ever had
in your life.
Ever.
Yeah. And you would not lie.
It's because, you know what, that sandwich, I react to that sandwich the same way I reacted to Jordan Wilson's throw. I say, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I react to Dat sandwich the same way I reacted to Dat Nguyen getting some sacks back in the day. He's here somewhere. He's supposed to be.
Yeah, we saw him.
Oh, you did see him? Okay, so we should take him.
Yeah, everybody deserves a trip to 1775. I went there on Friday.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
Thanks for bringing me some.
Well, you know what? Not only did I go there with IDOC Mike, and we shared the sampler, so we had the succulent brisket.
I hope you didn't share the sandwich.
We shared the sampler.
Okay.
With the succulent brisket and the amazing pork ribs and the turkey, which I ate a lot of it. It was really good as always. And the jalapeno cheese sausage and even the pulled pork. But on top of that, the wife called because she knew I was there and said,
Bring home
a sampler.
Yep.
So I did. So I had 1775 for lunch and dinner.
That's
on
called
Friday.
winning. 979-492-6241. Charlie Sheen. 1775 TXBBQ.com.
It's good.
Que rico.
Hey everyone, David Nuño here of TexAgs Live. I want to introduce you to the team at Holistic Planning. Got Jason Barber here, Taylor Pankratz, and also Paul Meredith. Jason, I want to start off with you. What really sets Holistic Planning apart from the others?
Yeah, so what makes us different is most financial advisors stop at investment management. On the other hand, Holistic Planning, we manage investments, taxes, and estate planning all on one team, all underneath one roof.
Now, Taylor, when everything is coordinated like that, it really helps the bottom line, doesn't it?
It really does. When your investments and taxes are working together, you stop leaving money on the table and keep more of what's yours.
Paul, Holistic Planning is trying to expand as well.
That's true. We just opened our Houston office, and we're looking for people who feel like their advisor isn't seeing the full picture, because that's exactly what we fix.
And Jason, there's other opportunities beyond that.
Definitely. If you're a financial advisor and you want to join the Holistic Planning team, we're looking to add 50 teams in the next 5 to 10 years. So check out holisticplanning.com/advisors.
All right, so if you want a team that actually coordinates everything, go to holisticplanning.com. Aggies, this one is worth it.
And we are back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations at the Aggieland FCA Golf Classic here at Traditions. OB Nuño and Bill Johnston of the FCA, good friend of mine, joining us here on the program. What's up, Bill?
Hey, man, it's great to be here. Thank y'all for being out.
Thank you for doing this. So just kind of reset what the FCA is all about. And this is one of what, you have 3 or 4 big major events every year.
We do. I tell you, coaches had a tremendous impact influence in my life, and that's really one of our heartbeat of FCA is that coaches have great influence, probably, I think, as much influence as anybody in America and in the world. And so we want to impact and touch coaches' lives and allow them to use their platform to minister and present the gospel and share their faith and be real with people. And we love on their families. And then we have student leaders who take on ministries on their campuses. And so we train up the leaders on their campuses, on their teams at A&M, Blinn, Sam Houston, all throughout. There's about 130 high schools and junior highs that we serve. And so we work alongside them and equip those leaders to have their own ministry.
Yeah, it's I was in the FCA even way back in the Stone Ages when I was in high school, right? And it's talk about as coaches. My coach, high school coach who lives in Bryan now, Bill Moore. To this day, when I'm in his presence, I can't call him anything but coach. I can't. I'm 64 years old, and I say, hey, coach.
Hey, coach,
yeah, but great influence. Yes, they are.
Yeah, I would be walking the halls, and I'd see teachers. I had respect for him, but man, when I saw Coach, I knew he had me after school. Yeah. So I had to kind of stand a little tall.
Out of Palestine High School.
Palestine High School.
Those Wildcats. Bill Johnson and Adrian Peterson.
There you go, AP.
Right. I tell everybody, you want to see a statue, my statue, Adrian's statue, and mine's the one right next to his. It's the white and yellow bird poop that drops off his statue. That's me.
Bill, talk about how much this has grown, too, because, this is a several-day event, right, 2-day event, and you've got golfers galore, all with ties to A&M this morning, this afternoon, and tomorrow as well.
Yeah, we have around 340 golfers, estimate, depending on everybody that shows up. But it's a great round. Big round of golfers today. We'll play yesterday to this morning and then this afternoon. So 3 pretty full rounds and a lot of great folks. If you could come out here and shake hands and hang out with people, you'd be so blessed and encouraged.
Let us know some of the names because I rattled off a couple, but I know that Dat's playing today. We've got some Aggie coaches out here as well. John Perry was the Texans coaches who I was thinking about, but I saw Coach Perry, the wide receivers coach out there. But there's several other names out here.
Yeah, Ed Hargett, who's been a longtime friend of FCA. A lot of people don't realize, he beat Alabama too. Remember when John beat it? They talked about that. But I think Bucky will be out with his staff. There's some A&M football coaches staff that are out here. We've got a great group of people. There's so many guys that come back and play. Coach Bennett's playing with Dat and Bubba Bean's out here. There's a bunch of great guys, and you can't help but be blessed and encouraged hanging out with them.
Well, first of all, just being on this course. And being out here, that's a blessing in itself, just to be out here to talk about it. But how much work do you have to do to get some of these guys out here?
Honestly, this tournament's been going on 27 years. I've been on staff 28 years. And, we originally named it after Ray Dorr. And Karen asked at some point, it's just a lot for her. She outworked everyone out here every year that she asked that maybe we move on, from that. And so I respectfully, I had to push her back a little bit for a few years, but she wanted that. But the same groups of people come every year.
Yeah, I would think you say, hey, you want to come out and play traditions? And they go, yeah. Is RC going to be out here? Isn't he always?
Yep. RC and Fred Caldwell and Jacob Green will be out here this afternoon. And I
bet he can drive a long way. Jacob Green.
Oh, I bet so. Fred Caldwell hits it pretty far too. I think RC likes having Fred on his team for that reason.
Bill, talk about the other events that you guys have as well, because this is one of the many that you put together.
Yes, in the summer we have a sports camp, and it's one of the largest FCA camps in the nation. There's one at UCLA. I think it's a little bit is much bigger actually, but it's a large camp here at A&M. We use the A&M facilities. Coaches and athletes serve and work and play. So the athletes come to the camp, the coaches come and work, and it's amazing, the camp. So then we move into the fall. We have a Fields of Faith event where the students come stand for their faith, and it's usually at Bryan High School, and they share a testimony or verses that mean a lot to them, and they all stand together for their faith on the field together. And it's a really large event, and those happen throughout the area. So there's not just one. There's a number of those throughout all our schools. And then we go to game day, which is an A&M football game where we bring high school and junior high kids. And it's amazing the impact that has on kids. The coaches bring a game, they're something in their hometown. They see this, and they actually come back and work harder.
Right.
That's what the coaches will say. Man, they work. They find that there's something bigger than just what they live in hometown. Then we have a fall game at Miramont, which is a major banquet deal, and we'll bring in speakers, and that's a fun time.
Well, Bill, I appreciate you having us out here, buddy. It's always good to see you, my friend.
Thank you. Good to see you, too.
Thank you. We'll hit a break. On the other side, we'll talk a little about the NFL draft, 10 Aggies drafted, plus we'll talk about next year's NFL draft. But right now, we're talking about Rollo Insurance here on TexAgs Live. At the Rollo Insurance Group, you get a personal agent with a direct number, not a call center, not an automation. They are the official insurance provider of TexAgs Live. The difference is real. 60 great offices in the state of Texas. So whether it's home, auto, or business, arrange insurance, start a relationship with an expert who puts you first. Your agent becomes familiar with your specific situation, providing customized protection that mass market insurers simply cannot provide or match. When you need advice, have a claim, you'll speak directly with someone who knows you by name. That is the Rollo difference. The difference is real. Visit RolloInsurance.com/TexAgs or call them up 888-44-ROLLO. That is 888-44-ROLLO.
Hey everyone, David Nuño of TexAgs Live, and I'm here with Brandon Moreau of Brazos Valley Floor and Design. They're a family-owned business, and Brandon used to work for the A&M football team, the Texans, you name it. Brandon, tell us a little bit about Brazos Valley Floor and Design.
Yeah, like you said, family business. We started in 1999. It was in a small feed store, and about 4 years later, my dad decided he wanted to grow the business and kind of focus on that. So we're in the location we are at now, and we have a large showroom with salespeople with designer experience, a lot of stocking power, and we catered a lot to residential builders, and we do a little commercial work as well.
Tell me about your other company as well, Premier Countertop Design.
Yeah, Premier Countertop Design is right there on site, so it's kind of a one-stop shop. People can come by, they can look at their slabs that they're going to cut, they're going to compare to their cabinet colors, their backsplash that they're going to do at our flooring store, and we have a lot of digital. We're doing a lot of digital stuff. We're templating, water jet, laser measuring, all different things like that.
So tell me a little bit about what sets you guys apart from the rest of the competition.
I think just being here in the community for 27 years in business, and our vendors that we have the relationships with, the pricing we can get because of how much we can buy in stock and things like that. And then as far as the countertop business, it's just the way we can be precise with what we do.
All right, there you have it, guys. Check out the website, bbflooranddesign.com and premiercountertopdesign.com.
And we are back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, hanging out at the Aggieland FCA Golf Classic at Traditions Golf Club, Nuño OB, the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. The great Gary Blair with us for several reasons. We'd just like to chit-chat with Coach Blair, and he's got a big golf event coming up on Friday.
Sure do. We plan on having 32 teams in the morning and 20 in the afternoon, and Coach Blair Charities for Special Olympics. And this will be our 23rd year here. Then I did it 10 at Arkansas. So I'm excited about that. And then we do the gala at the Expo Center Thursday night, 6 o'clock. All the Roadhouse food you can have and all the liquids and everything. Come on out. Silent live auction, and our Special Olympians will be dancing and get a chance to meet a lot of the celebrities that'll be playing in it.
Yeah, that's it's a great event that I know you've been putting on for a long time. How much fun is it just hanging out with these guys? You're here at the FCA golf event. A lot of these same folks will be hanging out at your event on Friday.
Well, we all share ideas, and it's speed of play. He's got a couple of good ideas out there on the course that will shorten up a par 4, par 5. Because, see, Robert Cessna's playing in the afternoon.
Okay, it's going to slow it down.
That's going to slow it down. And so I've got to figure out how to speed up play just a little bit.
Tell Robert not to show. No, of course not. Everything's a good time when Cease is right. I got to ask you this before we get into anything else, though, because it seems like every time I see you now, it's on a golf course or at a country club. So could you have been as successful a golf coach as a basketball coach?
I was a golf coach. Dallas South Oak Cliff. I started the program. Integration hit in '68 back when, for y'all remember Mike Livingston?
Quarterback, Kansas City Chiefs, SMU.
It was an all-white school back then, and then I took over in '72, and they asked for a volunteer to start up the golf team again. So I coached the golf team for 2 years while I was doing the women's athletics event. So, good story. My low golfer in the district meet went 127. And I don't think that was all the true scores. So I think we had trouble counting a little.
Well, sounds like made the right choice in following basketball, but you got to know a lot about golf because it's like your second home here.
Oh, I love golf. I do not hunt or fish. My wife fishes, and like Coach Schaefer down at Austin, he hunts, fishes, water skis, does it all, and plays 4-handicap golf. I couldn't do it all. But I love the golf ball, and I love to hit, and I love to talk golf because you're out there. I'm going to find out more about you in 4 hours in the 30 minutes before, maybe the 30 minutes with a brew afterwards, than I can do in any interview anyway. Golf gives you that chance to know something about somebody.
Coach Blair, one thing I know about you is you follow Aggie athletics, all the sports. So baseball is going really well. I'm sure you've been paying attention.
I watched yesterday. Since I couldn't play, I'm in there icing up, and I'm listening to the Florida announcers on baseball. Mm-hmm. But please tell the announcers to describe the action, because I had ice over my head, and all of a sudden there's a sky. He just skied it. We don't know where it went, to the left field, to the shortstop, or whatever. You got to describe it for the people that cannot see.
Right.
Can hear the thing. But I listened to softball, baseball, and golf yesterday, and then watched them drive by my house on number 3 out there as well.
Well, and how about the NFL draft? 10 Aggies drafted, and the job Coach Elko's doing.
Elko's wonderful. He's just a ball coach, and he cares about relationships. He knows, or he's got a GM that can figure out all this money issue and everything. But kids want to play here, not just because of the opportunity to start or what the dollar bill says. They want the culture that Texas A&M brings here.
Coach, it's easy to see talent. How hard is it to find or see the competitive desire within a player, or that kind of player that'll work to get better?
Last weekend they had the Adidas tournament for women at the Legends, and all the top coaches. I went up there to visit with my coaching friends. On one side was Corey Close, the UCLA coach who just won the national championship. The other side was Chris Daly and Gino Auriemma sitting on the other side. And we all go back in time when I can evaluate talent right now. I don't remember their names. I can see the talent.
You can see
coming in,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of Caitlin Clarks and Angel Reese's coming along, and hopefully we're going to get our fair share at Texas A&M here.
Coach Blair, we appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much. Remind everybody if they want to be involved in the event Friday.
Okay, come out Thursday night first. It's $30. All you can eat at Roadhouse, silent live auction. We'll have 250 items out there and 12. We got some great dinners with Jackie Sherrill, with R.C. Slocum, with Bucky, with Jamie, our national championship volleyball coach. We got a fishing trip in Louisiana, and we got, get this, the Savannah Bananas are coming in on Saturday night. Wayne Roberts has donated half of his suite on the 50-yard line. So we're going to have couples bid to see who would like to go on Saturday night. So we got a lot of good items, a lot of good golf items. And I know you're a man of all sports. You bike and everything, right?
Yeah.
You do it all.
Except golf. I need to start playing golf, though.
Well, bring your checkbook, and
Okay.
I'll work out a game with you.
Let's do it. You got it, sir. I appreciate you coming by, and we'll always support. Anytime you want to come on the show, you got a home here.
Thank you, sir.
The great Gary Blair here on TexAgs Live. We'll hit a break. We'll close up. OB and I will talk a little bit about the NFL draft as we set up Coach Earley and Brodie in the 9 o'clock hour. Right now, I want to talk to you about something incredible. That is Heritage Films. Chance McClain is my friend. He runs that company. He's the founder. They don't just make documentaries. They love telling people stories. That documentaries are done for families and family businesses and family ranches, and these would be stories that would be lost forever for the future generations. Imagine capturing your dad's journey, your grandfather's struggles, your mom's entire story in a professional cinematic documentary. These aren't random videos. These are very much like HBO or Netflix-style documentaries, and trust me, you'll regret it if you don't capture these stories now for the future generations. Call Chance McClain and his team up at 713-893-8341 or visit yourheritagefilm.com. That is yourheritagefilm.com. It is Heritage Films.
I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar. I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going, you use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst.
And we're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. So probably won't get any guests for a little while because they're all playing golf. They're all playing golf. So we can get to brass tacks here at the FCA Golf Classic at Traditions. OB, let's chat just the last 7 minutes of the go hour. 10 draft picks, a program record in the modern era. KC being the first round selection, 24th pick. We talked about that on Friday's show. But then Chase, Cassius, all of the second round, and
Nate Bokacher.
That was, I think, 50 spots higher than people expected. Jacksonville wanted him.
I absolutely expected Nate Bokacher to be drafted. I have to admit, I was surprised when he went in the second round. Happy for him. And then you get to thinking about it, and you think, what boxes for a tight end does he not check? I mean, he's a big physical guy. He can block. He can catch the ball. Good hands. Maybe you want him to be faster, but he runs about a 4.7, high 4.7, 40, fast enough for a tight end. Again, he's big. He's about 6'5", about 250.
He can do anything, though, right?
He was very versatile, and if they tell him, look, we need you to gain 10 pounds, he'll gain 10 pounds. He'll say, okay, how do you want me to do it? So, and if you're the Jaguars and you feel like, hey, we need a tight end and we like this guy, why wait? So I'm happy for him. He's going to make a lot of money, and I think he's going to prove to be I'm not going to sit here and say, I think he's going to be a Pro Bowl player. I think he'll be a good player. Hopefully he will be.
Yep.
But I think he'll be a good player for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So a couple people benefiting from
their next guy they picked or later pick is going to be a good player.
Pretty darn good too as well. But the part that I think is interesting, and by the way, he's speaking of Albert Regis, is the fact that Houston Thomas, Richie Anderson, and future tight ends are looking at that saying, this is what can happen at Texas A&M. Because Nate Bokacher was not being, I don't think he was. I didn't follow what his NFL draft prospects was at Nebraska. But I think the catch at Notre Dame and the season he put together when he would come in and block, when he would do X, Y, or Z, play the fullback, all those things that he put on film, I think put him on a different pedestal.
I want to say it was against South Carolina. I might have the game wrong, but I remember him catching a ball on the sideline, the opposing sideline, turn upfield and run it, just literally making contact and knocking the guy trying to tackle him over.
Right.
He had a touchdown later against South Carolina, but I think it was South Carolina when he did that. But yeah, you know what? When I was at 1775, I ran to Keone Armstrong.
Oh, did you really?
Huge guy. So I think that tight end room is going to be really good for a long time. And I think you're going to see more guys drafted at that position from A&M.
Well, and just the draft overall. Look, I don't know if they're going to get 10 every year. I mean, obviously that's the goal, right? But the fact that that's one of the things that Coach Elko identified when he took the job. We've got to get guys in the league because these are the kind of guys that win at this level, and we want to make it every year that we are amongst the biggest. And by the way, the SEC, again, dominating the NFL draft. I think 15 more than the Big Ten. I don't have the exact number, but it was significant. I have it here, actually. The Big Ten had a 68 to 87 for the SEC draft picks. But the fact that I think this program is moving in that direction, and yes, they went 11-2. They didn't win a national championship game. They didn't get that far. They lost in the first round of the playoffs. This is the beginning of something that hopefully is a sustainable project that we see every year. 7 to 10 guys that have a chance to flirt with the NFL.
Yeah, look, we understand there's going to be that 8-4 season, but make that your disappointing year, not your average year, right?
Right.
I think we should be, and I've said this forever, it should be a program that expects to win 10 games 4 out of 5 years. And I think they're on the road. I think they got the right guy to make that happen. And to your point, when you look at, I'm looking at the list. Here's the 10 guys. How many of them were transfers? Casey Concepcion, Cassius Howell, Nate Bokacher, Tyler Onyedin, Will Lee. So, Marjay Reed Adams, six of the 10 were transfers. So and not all those guys were like huge names.
All right.
So that is Mike Elko identifying talent, fits. They're the right culture. Right? The guys are going to work hard. There's how many guys from that celebrated 2022 class are actually going to be drafted? You know? So there's a coach bringing in guys, develop them, seeing something in them and knowing how to use them.
And then let's talk about the undrafted guys. So I believe Le'Veon and Scooby were injuries hurt their chances. If Le'Veon doesn't get hurt, I think he's drafted.
Oh, right? I would almost guarantee.
And I'd say the same thing about Scooby. Okay.
Yeah.
Torian York, I was actually surprised he didn't get drafted.
I was surprised he didn't get drafted. I didn't think he was going to be. I thought if he went, he'd go in the 6th or 7th round. But I thought he was so productive. His size, I think, is going to scare some people off. But he got the free agent deal with Denver.
Yeah.
And so, really, all you got to do is
make the team.
You got the opportunity.
Yeah.
Right. Even if you're a 5th round pick, you still got to make the team. So the opportunity is the same.
E.J. Smith to the Kansas City Chiefs, and Tyreek Chappelle to the Minnesota Vikings as undrafted free agents. Also, I was told that Jacob Graham is going to get a rookie tryout with the Texans. So go to the rookie camp and do the best you can there, buddy.
You have to have a deep snapper.
Yeah.
You don't appreciate it till you don't have one.
Yeah. So, but again, and now the question is. And the reason I'm bringing it up is I saw Liucci posted this, but what does this mean for the future? Because where was it? Cousin Shane was asked about what's going to happen with A&M, and his comment was 8-4 teams rebuild, 11-2 teams reload, and he laughed at the end of that talking about A&M. So he believes that they're going to reload. Is the way I took his commentary, and they've got the guys to reload. Ob,
I think so. You know what? I think the success of A&M, a huge part of it is going to depend on the transfers that Mike Elko identified and brought in the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already sold on transfers like Anto Saka and Isaiah Horton. But I think let's see how they do with those transfers in the offensive line, and who's going to question Mike Elko's evaluation
right
after last weekend.
Obi, we got about a minute and a half left. Were you shocked, or maybe shocked's not the right word, were you surprised that Diego Pavia is only getting a mini camp tryout?
Because you think of all the guys that get in trouble and still get drafted, but I know he's a short guy, and then some of the
antics.
Yes.
Yeah,
that didn't help him.
Especially the Heisman antics.
Yeah, and going out and after the Heisman and going out and,
I was surprised, though.
I thought, look, you can always find guys that get in all kinds of serious trouble and they still get drafted. But, I'm probably not supposed to say it on this show, but hanging out with Johnny probably didn't help him.
Well, but surprisingly, a quarterback from Vanderbilt, what were they, 10-2 last year?
Yeah.
Like Vanderbilt. And he was not Clark Lee is probably the biggest reason that they were 10-2, but he was pretty great for them.
I saw Eli Stowers went in like the 2nd round.
Oh man, what a player!
What could have been?
Yeah,
what should have been?
What could have been and what should have been? Yeah. Exactly right. OB.
Speaking of tight ends.
Yeah.
Thank
you, buddy. Appreciate you. All right, we're going to hit a break here. When we come back, I'll set the scene here from traditions, and then Brodie will take it away with Coach Earley. I'll try to follow up with Brodie for a little bit, and then we're going to try to get some of the golfers on the course at around 9:35, maybe run into Dat Nguyen, and I heard Gabe Bach is out there. There's a couple other dudes, so we'll see who we can get here in the 9 o'clock hour before Billy joins us. It's TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. And we are back. I don't know if you can hear me. I think I got the wrong mic on. And we are back. There we go on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, which is actually at Traditionals Golf Club for the FCA golf event. Aggie baseball, winning the last 2 games in Florida, win another series, playing some amazing baseball. Let's go to the studio where Ryan Brauninger takes over with head coach of the A&M baseball team, Michael Earley.
Thank you, David. I didn't have my earphones in because I really don't care what you have to say. So thank you, Kate Bickham, the fantastic producer of this program, for pointing at me and letting me know. David, I'm just too lazy. You know this, but I don't have headphones in, so you can say whatever that you like. I'm here with Coach Earley. The Aggies go 2-1 over the weekend against the Florida Gators. Coach, thanks for coming in. Plane rides home after that, man. It's got to be really enjoyable compared to some of them that you took last year.
Yeah, they're a lot better. I mean, they're great. It was awesome. You know, Marshall came with me. Cliff brought his son, so I didn't have to smack him on the plane or anything because I was upset. So they had a clean ride home.
The thing that's going to everybody, Jorian drew a lot of headlines yesterday, but to me, you go through the course of the weekend, and what you guys did on the mound once again was one of the bigger stories that I think will probably get lost in the shuffle when people start recapping this weekend in the SEC. But Sims has been great, but Ethan Darden is kind of ticking in the right direction.
Yeah.
You go back-to-back days to Gavin and Clayton. It just kind of, to me, it spoke to the confidence that you're starting to build in those guys after the starters.
Yeah, they did a phenomenal job. It's definitely not lost on me. They won us the series. Like they did great. And Gavin had a bounce back. Not that he pitched bad. He just wasn't. You could see he wasn't completely sharp, but he competed his way through and Fresh did great too. And the luxury of those two is like those guys can really throw, and not everyone's built like that. Like not every guy can bounce back. Like they just have that ability. So Darden was great. I thought the starting pitching did a really nice job. I thought Weston did a great job. He's right there, right? Can we just get through that last part? But I was just super pleased with the effort in general. Just a very what I call like a methodical approach to the series, right? We just did what we did. Like nothing really affected us, and we just played ball.
And a lot of what you've said about this club is their maturity and their ability to bounce back. And Friday night, you got bloodied, and that was a good guy on the mound. And I think, to me, that was encouraging because you kind of got baseballed, right?
Yeah.
Like
until the last inning.
Yeah. And y'all were in the middle of a bunch of swings and just unfortunate. But did you have it? I mean, I know what you're going to say, but I'm going to ask, like, where were you at going into Saturday? You thought they bounced back?
Yeah, I had no. We talked about some stuff that we wanted to clean up, kind of outside of baseball stuff. Nothing major. Just like always, checks and balances of the program. And I know Gavin talked to him after the game Friday. I stay out of that stuff, but I never feel great, to be honest with you, about anything. You know what I mean? I'm always kind of right there. But I feel great about them. Mm-hmm. Right, I feel great about their ability to just, when you make mistakes, like we've played consistent baseball. And when a consistent baseball team kind of leaves that a little bit, which maybe there's a little bit of it, they're going to get back to it because that's been the body of work. So I trust those guys a ton, and they're just a bunch of great dudes to coach.
And then on Friday night, the pitching, as it got away from you, it was an opportunity for you to see some guys under the lights, under the SEC lights. Yeah. Cooper Powell, Luke Billings, Hunter Bond. Hunter Bond, pretty good outing. He did. Did well. Can you build off of that and start giving him more opportunity?
Yeah, I think they all can. I mean, Cooper, awesome job. 3-2 count, but he punched the guy out. Like whatever. I want to see like, hey, can you come in here and get a left-hander out? And then we want to give Luke the opportunity to start inning. I mean, he's pitched now twice, and the last time he pitched, he struck out the side. Mm-hmm. And we want him to pitch in SEC games like that, and he didn't have a great one, but that's also a massive positive. Like Luke Billings is a competitor. Like he will be better. Like he'll definitely be. You saw it, right? The sliders were great. He just happened to hit a guy with the third one instead of punching him out. And then Hunter did a nice job too. Hunter's just no fear, just gets up there and throws the ball, and whatever happens. So.
Left-handers from Blinn that throw strikes.
No, yeah, we like this.
And then. Did you feel like, Friday night, there was a lot of emotion. Their guy comes off the mound barking. But did you feel like your guys did a good job of not just because that's out of character for them. Like, they don't do that. They're pretty buttoned up. They usually don't get involved with that type of stuff.
Our guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw your tweet, which was interesting, the amount of hits and home runs after the altercation, but like it was so just kind of out of left field by their guy that our guys were like, they didn't even know what was happening. Like there was no like back and forth, and maybe they did. I was just like, yeah, man. I mean, if I pitch that good, I don't know what I'd do either. Kidding, but he's great. That guy's a great player, great pitcher. He just actually listened to his post game after, and he's like, I should have just directed it at my team. So no harm, no foul. Maybe our guys took it in, maybe they didn't. But yeah, I mean, he had a great outing. I mean, that kid's a stud.
Does it say anything to you that you can go a weekend in the SEC and win against a national championship caliber program like that, win the weekend, and perhaps one of the best players in A&M history gets one hit?
Yeah, I think it just shows we're trying to play complete baseball, right? You don't ever want one player to have to play well for you to win, right? You want a lineup full of guys that can just play good baseball and pitch good and pick it up and throw it to first. So I think it says that we try to play a complete game. And yeah, he had a tough weekend, but whenever we got a great player like Caden Sorella has a tough weekend, I actually get super encouraged. Because like it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna keep happening, right? He's got some stuff he's got to work on. He's trying to swing his way out of it one swing. Ultra aggressive hitter who's getting a little bit too aggressive, as you can see. But got him a little hit yesterday. Hit a couple. I mean, hit balls hard too. That's the part.
Yeah, last at bat.
When you're his first swing of the whole weekend off King, he goes 103 right to the left fielder, and then his last at bat off a guy that's 97, 98, he hits it 100 and whatever right to the center fielder. So when those don't fall and you mix that in with some tough at bats, he's a little closer than it might look.
You talk about playing a complete game, and I thought a little bit out of character for you on Friday night in defense. I mean, you know, they scored 2 on the ground ball that hit off the counter. But man, the story for what you guys did, especially yesterday, the defense again it's an under talked about aspect of this team that has been sensational from pitch one of the season.
Yeah, they've done a great job. Cliff's done an awesome job with them, and they've done an awesome job working hard. And everything we do is super routine based, like very, very monotonous what we do from a hitting standpoint to catch play standpoint to fielding standpoint. Everything is, and you got to embrace that, and you got to be willing to be, I don't know if it's embrace the boring, because it's just really like we try to make this so routine that you know it like that. And these guys, and the key is like you got to buy into it, and you got to do it, and you got to do it when you're struggling. You got to do it when you're doing well. And again, just you can't speak enough about the character of this team, just from a person standpoint, which I think is really leading to a lot of good baseball, because you got guys that, you know, I was telling someone this the other day, because every year I've coached, I look at players, I'm like, hey, could he coach? He can't coach. He could coach. And I'm not going to say who they are, but me and Troy were talking about this. Like, there's more guys you can name on this team that I could see like maybe coaching one day. And it's usually not as many as what we thought.
That's not directed at Hayden Schott at all?
No. He actually could be all right.
Yeah, he'd be a different type of coach. But so I got to ask you about Saturday, the decision to take Sims out.
Yeah.
I know he's been under quite a bit of a workload, and you felt good about winning the game.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're playing for a lot here. Now we're trying to win every single game, no doubt. In that moment, we're winning this game, but we plan on playing for a long time. And he had a couple in a row where he got out there, right? And if I could go back to LSU, we would probably take him out an inning sooner. But he was feeling great, and I just kind of decided, like, we're at 80 here. I feel great about Gavin. I feel great about Fresh. I didn't worry about putting them in because their ability to bounce back, like, that wasn't even a thought. They both did their job. I think, yeah, I mean, did someone else come in? I can't even, that was so long ago. Darden came in. Yeah. So I felt great about all those guys. It's just a decision we made because we're going to need Aiden Sims for the long haul. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to happen every weekend. Like, He just needed a weekend instead of 3 in a row. You got to remember, he went Texas, rain delay, came back out, LSU. That, I felt good about our other guys, and I get it. I get why you think, well, run him up to 100 again. Like, no, he needed a little bit of, because we're about to hit this stretch where he's really, really going to pitch, and we just thought it was the appropriate time to kind of dial it back a notch. Our guys have been great in the pen. They did their job, and it worked.
And then take us through the play, the collision between Jorian and Chris. What'd you see when you got out there, and then kind of where Chris is at today? I'm sure he's sore.
Yeah, he's pretty sore. That play's so tough because it's a great play by either guy if they catch it. Like, talk about being hit. It wasn't that play. It's not a play you look back and you're like, that play should have been made. Like, no, if the second baseman catches it, it's great. If the right fielder catches it, it's great. It's hard to communicate in a play like that where you need every breath of your last step until you catch the ball. I still wish they would have caught it. But, yeah, Chris is just stiff. I mean, everything was fine, all the tests. He got hit by Jorian. And that can't. I'm gonna avoid that one at all costs if I'm anyone. So he was just stiff. We left him in there. We thought it would loosen up. It didn't loosen up. So just took him out. But all the tests and stuff were good. And take a look at him today, and hopefully it just starts to get better. Jorian got a pretty nasty cut of his lip, but he's good too.
He's bleeding. But with Jorian, you figured, I think if you were to map out the perfect way to bring him along in January.
I guess it depends on how you look at it. There's probably people out there who think I'm an idiot, or there's probably people that baseball think it's right, but either way, he's playing good.
This was about what you'd hope for, right?
Yeah.
But now I think the next progression, and he's not a secret anymore nationally. Like, after what he's done against LSU, and then he goes 114 to dead center yesterday, and then the throw went viral on social media. Is there still something you're like, all right, like, now everybody knows who you are. How do you play when people actually know what you are?
Yeah, I think he's good, man. He's different. He's got, I mean, if you want to talk about the progression of his game, he's got a, strike zone awareness is something he's going to have to grow and develop into. Yeah, he's a freshman power hitter. Like, everyone has to do that. So if you want to pick something apart, like, yeah, he's punched out a little bit. Who cares? Like, I mean, I care, but it's like, look at what he's doing. Look at the reward. He's just going to have to develop, get more at-bats. He's also had some unbelievable at-bats. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, he's had some at-bats where you think, like, man, this is probably a punch-out at-bat, and then it's not. And he has some where he punches out. So he just overall development continue to grow. But, I mean, I've been telling you for a long time. I said, I haven't seen, there ain't many dudes walking on the planet that can do the things he does when he does them right. Now, as he continues to grow. But, I mean, yeah, he's not a secret, but we're not surprised. You're not surprised. We've been super high on what this could be and where it's going. So it's just a ton of credit to him, man. Just another privilege for me and the coaching staff with all these great guys we get to coach, and he's one of them. Talk about a sponge. Guy will do whatever you say. He's an awesome guy, and we need him to keep playing well.
I mean, he fits mentally. Just take the physical stuff away. He fits very much in with Nico and Boston. Like,
great
freshman class leaders of your program going forward.
Yeah, he's tough. He's mentally tough. Great guy. Guys love him. We love having him around. Just, again, pleasure to be around every single day. And when you're that good, it's even more fun to enjoy.
You got to, when you were the assistant here, you were the outfield coach. So you got to watch Braden do a lot of stuff out there. Did that throw remind you a little bit of Braden? And have you thought about how many runs that might save you going forward with third base coaches that are going to go no? Yeah.
Well, that was the thing about Braden. I still test him a little bit, but there was times on Braden where people should have ran, and they didn't because he was out there. And I keep getting asked who has I don't know. I mean, Braden Montgomery is incredible. And what Braden Marshall's asked me last night, actually. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm not comparing Braden. Braden's in a tier of his own. Like, he doesn't get compared around here. Braden was unbelievably accurate, right? Mm-hmm. And, like, when Braden threw it, it was there. Now, when Jorian's throwing it, he's just got to keep doing it.
As long as he's throwing it to the right base.
Yeah, if we can be in that realm of, but yeah, I mean, the pure just getting out of the hand. I mean, there's only a human being from the outfield can only throw the ball so hard. I'm not sure it gets much harder than what he's doing.
Well, and you got a guy sitting in your dugout that was like that too, Tyler Naquin.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, they say now. I hear people. It's kind of cool, the history of Aggie baseball. They're like the 3 best arms we've ever seen here now are Naquin, Montgomery, and Wilson. So that's pretty sweet.
And in your time here, man, like you've seen some pretty incredible outfielders. I mean, even that first year you had Rock and Minnick, who weren't the pro prospects, but like really good college players.
Yeah.
Have you found that with the success of Sorrell, Jace, Jorian, Braden, all these guys, your outfitters, that it's easier to go on the recruiting trail with that?
It definitely helps. Yeah, it definitely helps. I mean, whenever you have good players or have success in a part of baseball, team success definitely helps the most, and you know, we need to continue to build on that. But whenever you've had draft success in spots, even going back to my time at Arizona State, like it definitely helps in the recruiting process, because not only do players know, their advisors know, their travel ball coaches know, you can show like a history of success and people coming to college. That's the other step, avoiding the draft, and like, where do you end up? Now, it doesn't always work out, but I feel like we've done a good job here of it working out way more times than not.
Yeah, you show them a clear path to development. I think that's what a lot of them look for. All right. Only 2 midweeks left. Tomorrow against Tarleton, a good team which a lot of people have projected into the postseason. So another regional type of team coming here in the midweek. But it's, you know, you're at the last 3 weeks of the SEC season. Do you view tomorrow night any differently in terms of what you're looking for from your club?
No, we want to play good baseball. Like, same guys are playing. Like, you don't need a week off. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you missed the midweek last week too.
Yeah. We want to play. We want to play, and you need at bats. And you know, when you don't hit from Sunday to Friday, it's not the easiest thing in the world. Now, at this point in the year, it's not bad. It had nothing to do with our performance on Friday. It's just we want to play. You want to continue to play baseball, get on the field, and we're still practicing, right? Like, we still have things we do, but the hay's in the barn as far as like practice and like learning new stuff. Like, we do what we do. We stay sharp on it. So playing the game is super beneficial.
Yep. All right, Coach, we appreciate it. Kick it back to David at Traditions.
We'll chit-chat with you here in a few minutes. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. If you're in the Bryan College Station area or surrounding areas and you're in the market for a new vehicle, what you need to do is you owe it to yourself to check out Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They're stocked up and ready to deal on everything, and they're ready to make sure that you find your family SUV, your big truck, whatever it may be. They will take great care of you. They're locally owned. They got an Aggie alumni team ready to take care of you, the customer, and they make sure that you know that every vehicle comes with that free oil change for life as long as you own that vehicle from Caldwell Country Chevrolet. That's value that keeps paying you back year after year. Stop selling for big city prices or high pressure tactics. Come see the difference at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Remember, it's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and you do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. And we are back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio, on the road as we're hanging out at Traditions Golf Club for the Aggieland FCA Golf Classic. A lot of baseball on tap today, another series win, where you're going to go back to the studio, the actual Rollo Insurance Studio, where Ryan Brauninger is there. Bronny, the thing that I found, and I told OB, it's not interesting, but I think just a different way that they went about their business was dropping the Friday game and then winning the next two, which is kind of different than what we had seen prior.
Yeah, it was different in terms of the opponent, but it was similar kind of how you went about it against Vanderbilt. You know, Vanderbilt, they ran away from you late in that game on Friday. It was a Thursday night game, and then you double dipped them on Friday to win that series. And so A&M has lost Friday games against Oklahoma, against Vanderbilt, and against Florida. And they have won two of those three series, and Georgia. So they lost to Oklahoma Friday, they lost to Georgia in game one, they lost to Vanderbilt in game one, and they've lost to now Florida in game one. In the first two, they were unable to bounce back and take the series, but the second two that they have, and why this was more daunting task than perhaps Vanderbilt is because A, it was on the road, and B, this was a pitching staff that it was going to be hard to get to in terms of A&M's style of play. That's only going to continue next weekend with Auburn. But what I mean by with Florida is they didn't walk you. They struck out a bunch of guys, and they have elite arm talent from top to bottom on that pitching staff. I mean, they brought in their closer yesterday in the sixth inning, and he brought them all the way to the finish line. That guy was 97 to 100 with a 92-mile-an-hour slider. They just got big arms. You know, it's death taxes in Florida having talented pitching. So the task after losing on Friday night was a lot stiffer or a lot tougher hill to climb to me because you were on the road against that pitching staff. And I mean, the offense, the response by the offense on Saturday was remarkable. 15 hits against that pitching staff. And because they didn't walk you, that's why you only scored 8 runs. Usually with this offense, if this offense hits 15 hits, they're going to score 10 or 12 runs. And they had opportunities. You know, I think they left 11 men on base, but Jorian Wilson, Gavin Grahovic, Bear Harrison, they were all just really, really good. Boston Kellner in that game had 2 hits and was on base another time. So the lineup just over the course of a weekend, getting these guys out consistently is such a chore, even for the best pitching staffs in this conference, which are essentially the best pitching staffs in the country.
Ronnie, I also found, look, I know the offense was great, but this was a 15-14 when we're talking about total runs in this series. To me, the story was, yes, the offense had amazing moments, but the pitching overall, you take away Friday, and even Friday had some really good moments. It was about what the bullpen did and what the starters did on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, Friday, the game just got away from them late, and I thought I talked to Coach Earley about it, I thought, though, it was important to get Cooper Powell, Luke Billings, and Hunter Bond into an SEC game just to see what you got. And in that game, you had it was essentially like an open tryout, and you're trying to build bullpen depth or just add 1 or 2 more guys to the trust circle of the bullpen in high leverage games because you just don't know what the remainder of this season and the postseason is going to hold. But, you know, outside of Friday, I thought they were exceptional. I mean, Gavin Lyons, Clayton Freshcorn continue to be just, it's different, right? It's different than Chris Cortez and Evan Aschenbeck, but it's almost as effective. They're not as effective. Those two are maybe 2 of the best relievers in school history. It's not as effective, but it's been effective. And one thing about this A&M team, man, is, yeah, they don't rack up the strikeouts. They don't light up the radar gun, but they throw the ball over the plate consistently. And we've said that for a long time now, especially going back to the start of SEC play, is that they throw it over the plate. Yes, they get beat up at times, but they throw it over the plate and they're fine living with it because that is their only recipe. They can't nibble with their stuff. They've got to attack. They've got to force offenses to beat them. And again, the most talked about, underrated aspect of this baseball team is the defense. They are still fielding 983, and we're almost 50 games or 40-plus games into the season. It is a top 10 defense in college baseball. And you go back and you look at the series against LSU, the series against Texas, the series against Florida. A&M has been the better defensive club in every one of those series. And the numbers bear it out, but also your eyes do. Nico Partita made a couple of plays yesterday look really routine, and they are not. And everybody will point to the throw that Jorian made. But have you been clocking how well Bear Harrison is catching? I mean, he had a huge out yesterday on a ball in the dirt that he picked clean and just got it into his bare hand and fired a strike to second base and got the guy out. Everywhere you look, Gavin Grahovic is an All-American at first base. He is an All-American. And with the way he's swinging the bat right now and playing defense, if it wasn't for a guy named Daniel Jackson at Georgia, he'd be in the conversation for SEC Player of the Year because he's just been so complete. And everywhere you look right now, I think that the one element of this team where you're going, it could get better because there's enough guys to make it better is what happens in that left field / DH spot, right? That's really the pitching's not all of a sudden going to get a huge boost. They are what they are. They throw it over the plate. You live with the results. The offense is where you can go, there's one spot. Can somebody step forward in that 6-hole / where TK was at this weekend? Could you put Jake Dewar in left field and then you rotate through Wesley Jordan and Blake Bender up at DH? Sawyer Forrest played left field. They got to find something in that spot to give just an extra bit of spark to the offense. It could be TK. You could look at it and go, hey, we're playing really, really well, even though he's struggling. We're playing really well. Why would I mess with it?
Brodie, for a while, at least nationally, the conversation was very similar to 22. Is this sustainable? And what it's becoming is unavoidable. What the A&M's team can do, and I'm talking from the defensive perspective, offensive perspective, and now the pitching staff as well. It's unavoidable how good they have become. And now we're talking about it was a realistic chance that this team should be a national seed. They're closer than ever now.
Yeah, and again, there's no rest for the weary in this league. And you look at A&M's final run in here, this stretch of 9 games, it's not going to be easy in the league. Auburn is very good. They play. They're not similar to A&M. They don't slug and they don't hit like A&M, but they really play defense and they pitch exceptionally well. And just kind of looking ahead, it's going to be a very pitcher-friendly weekend at Bluebell Park if the current forecast holds. So it's going to be a challenge for Auburn. Then you go on the road to Ole Miss, who was inches away from taking 2 out of 3 against Georgia, and they have been red hot. And that is a real atmosphere at Swayze Field. And then you come home and play Mississippi State, who, they are also moving toward a national seed discussion. So every one of these 9 games remaining in the league are going to happen against teams that are fighting for the same thing that you are, postseason baseball in their home ballparks, and perhaps even all 3 fighting for a national seed, just like you are. And then tomorrow night, you welcome in a Tarleton team who I'm extremely high on, and a lot of folks around the country are predicting them to win the WAC and get into a regional. So it's not it's not crazy to think that you play Tarleton tomorrow on a Tuesday night, and then in a few weeks, they're coming right back to Bluebell Park as, the WAC champion and the 4 seed in the regional. And that's the type of program that they've built in Stephenville, and they're really talented. It'll be very interesting to see how Coach Earley manages that. Does Chris Akopian need a day off after that collision with Jorian Wilson? Do you give somebody else a start in the outfield to see if you can get a spark, offensively, whether that be Dewar in left and Wesley Jordan at DH, or does Travis Chestnut get a start in the outfield? Does Sawyer Farr get a start in the outfield? Just seeing how Coach Earley does some of these things, I think it'll be very interesting against a really talented Tarleton team in the midweek. So what I'm saying is, outside of the Prairie View midweek next week, David, all of these games are against not just talented teams, but teams you could face up to in a run to Omaha.
Brodie, I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks very much. Good work. Ryan Brauninger there in studio. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. We'll see if we can get somebody on the golf course, catch up with some of the stars that are playing some golf here at the FCA Golf Classic at Traditionals Golf Course. Right now, if you're serious about getting organized and confident with your finances, take a look at Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas, so they have no commissions, no product sales, just thoughtful financial planning and investment management. And what makes Paragon different is their depth of their team. They have 8 CFPs. They have a CFA all on staff, and their credentials matter, and so does what's doing right for the client. That also matters to them. Learn more at paragon-adv.com or call them up at 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors.
Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever, and also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group, and they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports, and they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no-pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs, and remember, gig 'em.
And as a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza. They've been serving Aggie Land since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls, reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. So, Nick, I think we're waiting to see if we can get some of the guys on the golf course. We were just told an interesting story.
We were.
So I'm going to share that story. So Chad is over here. Chad, what's your last name? Chad McMillan. Grew up in the area. All right, wanted to play at A&M. And, for whatever reason, he didn't come to A&M. I think the Aggies went in a different direction under Coach Sherrill. So he ended up going to Texas, okay? And you would think that that would cause some hatred towards the Ags. But no, he listens to TexAgs. He roots for A&M when they're not playing Texas. He loves the A&M culture. And I just thought that was a cool story to hear that because he brought up my wife, Elizabeth, who does not follow Longhorn sports. Okay, so she's not she's not this diehard Longhorn, but she loves her school, as she should, except in my house. But it's all my children are Aggies. That's a fact. You ask them, Isla, Annalise, Christian Cruz, they'll all tell you, and the boys will be at school.
They're literal Aggies now.
They are. I mean, we signed them up for fish camp, and what was the other one we signed them up for? It's another great camp. It's a Christian-based camp that they're going to. So they're super excited about both of those. Anyway, so my household is Aggie. So I understand Chad's story a little bit because, Elizabeth, I do believe, roots for Aggie sports. A, it pays the bills. B, she loves the culture. This is her second time to live in this community. So to hear Chad's story was kind of cool because he roots for the Ags, except when they're playing the Longhorns, which means I can't be his friend on that week. But outside of that, Chad and I can get along. And he's also involved in FCA, which is a cool event. We hope to get a couple of the athletes on the golf course at some point. Billy is on his way to Traditions at some point, so we'll have Billy here in a moment. One of the things I wanted to talk about, Nick, is how the story of A&M baseball is never done being told. So I'm going to be very honest with you. You've known me long enough to know how I can be a roller coaster of emotions when it comes to my teams, right? And I looked at this series against Florida leading into it. I was this is one, I didn't feel that bad about LSU. LSU, I felt like we were the better team and we'd take care of business. I wasn't predicting a sweep.
Yep.
I thought we would win the series against Texas. Wasn't predicting a sweep, 2-game sweep. This Florida series, I was if we're going to win, and no one wants to drop one, I think everybody understands what I'm saying here. This would be the one because of their pitching, their elite pitching.
Yeah. I mean, the Friday night guy proved it.
Yeah. But then I was but their offense isn't A&M's offense. But this was a pretty even series other than the final result, right? From a total runs perspective, because the Friday game, the game one, got a little away from you. What was it, 9-2?
Yeah.
And but other than that, it was A&M's offense doing exactly what they do, mashing, and the pitching doing plenty.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I can't remember. I think Bronny put out the tweet after, the Friday night starter for Florida. I'm sure you remember him kind of mouthing off to the A&M dugout. After that moment, the Aggie offense just kind of exploded. I'm going to try to pull it up here before we go on. But yeah, I mean.
By the way, Larry tells me Impact. That's right. Camp Impact. That's exactly right. That's where the boys will be going. So they're super excited about doing that camp, which I don't think was a thing when I was in college.
Yeah. After that interaction, 27 hits, 7 home runs in that series. So,
go ahead.
I was going to say, if Florida could have used that as a motivator, right? You back up your guy, but obviously Coach Earley and the boys, they used it to their advantage. And I think Jorian Wilson might have taken out a little bit of anger on a few baseballs.
Well, I'm a big believer in don't say anything until it's over. You know, and I'm not saying you should say anything at all, but, have proper emotion directed the proper way. And I don't think that young man really meant anything, but it doesn't matter.
I mean, it's competition in the moment, right?
But I tell my kids all the time, you whatever extra motivation you need to, coach doesn't start you, somebody looked at you wrong, whatever it takes for you to get to that level of competitive grit that you need to take advantage of a situation, you do that. And I don't know if that's the why behind it, but what you don't want to do is say things that later on come to bite you. And I'm not throwing shade at Trey Zuhn at all, but like his comments right after, and I knew what Trey was trying to say. I'm directing it back to Trey because, unfortunately, that was thrown in A&M's face during the Miami game, right? And
they
Trey,
took advantage of it. Miami did.
Yeah, but Trey Zuhn wasn't an issue. Yeah. Right? Trey Zuhn was fantastic in that game. But, I just believe, people's opinions of Aggie baseball. How many opinions do we have after that? And by the way, I didn't feel good about it. Yeah. I don't think any of us felt good
all
about
of our opinions have shifted.
Which is why we're going to react on a daily basis. But also we're going to be, if they get beat, we're going to react to getting beat. If they get embarrassed, we're going to react to getting embarrassed appropriately. But there is a full story, the marathon season that is a college baseball season. And look, this run that they're on, I don't know how sustainable it is to continue winning SEC series left and right. The 22 team found ways to win several series down the stretch, right? But not every example is one that you can apply for future years. That being said, that Friday baseball bunch after the Vanderbilt game, okay? Yeah. They didn't look good. The crew, right? Those guys who know baseball more than I do, right? Than most people. Laid it out if this happens, this is what we can see from this team. And that's exactly what has happened, Nick, from a baseball perspective. The pitching has certainly elevated this game, and the offense, when it needs to mash, finds a way to mash. And when somebody says something or directs the motion the wrong way, the team overall has responded.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's been the biggest, shift has been the pitching staff. We had the most questions about them. It's never really been on the offense, and I think you kind of just mentioned it. They've proven it's sustainable at this point. That's just what you're going to get out of them. But, the pitching staff shifting Gavin Lyons up to Saturday, Shane Sadeo has been better. But speaking of baseball, we're going to have Brodie Greene on the hotline. He's out on, I don't know what hole they're on, but Kayla, Callie, and the crew is with him.
Is he there right now?
He's there right now. We should be able to hear him if you want to take it away, David.
Brodie, what's up, man?
How's it going, Dave?
Hey, good, man. Thanks for joining us here. How are you playing today?
Not too bad. We're struggling with the flat sticks a little bit, but I think we're 5 through 7, so a lot of golf left, but we like where we're at.
Hey, by the way, beautiful shot in the background. I don't know if you've seen where you're standing. Obviously, you're standing there, but
it looks stadium hole. This rivals 16 at the Waste Management for sure.
It looks awesome. Hey, so I know you follow every Aggie baseball game. What do you think about this run they're on?
Man, it's been incredible. I think any time you go back-to-back weekends on the road and you come out 5-1, I think no matter who you're playing is big. But I think it says a lot to the pitching. I know I heard you guys about it, but you go in a weekend on the road. Florida's a good squad with a great pitching staff, and Sorrell, I think, had one hit the whole weekend, and you come away with 2 wins. I think it says a lot about the entire lineup. But says a lot about, the way Sims pitched, the way Moss threw it, the guys out of the pen yesterday. So after losing Friday and kind of getting that, talking to by King from Florida, I think it kind of set us off for the rest of the weekend. So it was big to get that win for sure.
Was there a point this season where you're like, dude, this team really is that good? Are you still trying to figure them out, or have you already come to the conclusion, no, this is a national seed team that finds different ways to beat you?
I think offensively we had that, kind of idea in mind going into it. Now, I don't think it was all there collectively at the start of the year. The pitching was always the question, but those guys have stepped up. The starters have stepped up. Guys out of the pen have stepped up. But I think it was when Gavin kind of took that next step. It might have been Missouri series or right before when he kind of turned that corner. I think it just kind of freed up the rest of the lineup. You've seen Wilson take off from there. Bottom of the lineup, Bears having an incredible second half to the season. Boston turning over the lineup. So they're really complementing each other. But I think it starts with Gavin at the top of the lineup. He's kind of researched the entire offense.
Brodie, last thing for you, Coach Earley. He has certainly changed many opinions, and one of the things that I have found fascinating, he has stayed kind of the same. And also, he looked in the mirror, addressed some issues, and we've seen those issues fixed all season long.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a hitting guy. He came here, his first tenure with us was solely on hitting, and that year in 24, we absolutely just crushed the baseball. Last year, I think he as a head coach, you're going to take it on the chin because the record is what it is. But he didn't have his guys the whole year, and this year you're showing with the health what he can do with the hitters at the plate, top to bottom. They all have the same approach, and it's definitely showing, and it's definitely taking them deep into the SEC with a couple series left to finish it off.
Brodie, I appreciate it, man. Let's get you in studio soon, man.
Thanks, David. We'll see you.
See you, bud. Brodie Greene there on the Bubby's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. Final segment of the 9 o'clock hour before the 10 o'clock hour. Should have a couple of other guests on the other side potentially. And also in the 10 o'clock hour, we'll see if we can get Dat Nguyen to join us or some of the other golfers as we are here hanging out at Traditions Golf Club for the FCA golf event. We'll hit a break. We'll do that on the other side. Right now, we are talking about Milliken Reserve, a farm-to-table community in College Station. They got homes, they got trails, they got farms, they got wide open spaces, and they have a mission to build a healthy community around nature. They're dedicated to the conservation of a healthy community, respect for that native landscape and that wildlife. 2,600 acres of open space, farms, and trails that connect families to nature and to each other. They have an extensive network of trails throughout a wooded landscape that includes walking and equestrian paths. They're a place for families to come together and cherish for generation after generation. All the animals you can imagine are there at Milliken Reserve. You can check out the white-tailed deer, the songbirds, the rabbits, and turtles. Learn more at millikenreserve.com. That website is millikenreserve.com. It's interesting, Nicholas, that, and I actually don't mind it. It comes across that I get angered. I just like arguing with people sometimes.
Who'd you argue with?
Oh, on the YouTube page, some loser, comes on. I'm not going to give him the love that he wants, but it's just funny that when I got I'm assuming this guy he's got Beav on his title name, right? When this guy probably has a job, might have a wife. might have kids, right? And they think that their dad is this superstar, right? Like, dad is so cool.
And he's on a YouTube chat.
And then the reality is he's got a burner account. He goes on rival sites. He misspells Aggie because he thinks it hurts my feelings, right? Aggie's feelings. And just, A&M, they can't beat Texas. Okay.
Yeah, what is he what?
I mean, whatever. I scored just as many playoff points as Aggie football this year. No, actually, you didn't. You didn't score any points.
You don't play college football.
This is a fact, Bevo. Facts. And I'm looking at the camera. You're not man enough to come to traditionals right now and shake my hand. That's a fact. The other fact is your children would be embarrassed by you. Because I'm telling you right now, if I made a burner account and I went on the TexAgs equivalent, which there isn't, let's be honest, there isn't, and I started type, my kids were like, Dad, what loser behavior you have. And that's if you have kids, which means you have a romantic involvement, which I don't think you do. So I'm just saying, like, it's just loser-like behavior. And the reason I'm using the last couple of minutes of this segment to do it is because we only have a couple of minutes of this segment to do it anyway.
The TexAgs, what was the space mission that just went off? The 3 astronauts?
Yes.
Artemis. The TexAgs Artemis mission that is out on the golf course right now of Luke, Kayla, and Callie is looking for the next great guest. So hopefully they're probably on the dark side of the moon right now, coming around looking for somebody. So probably get to him in the 10 o'clock hour before Billy gets here. I'm sure Billy would love to talk to Dat Nguyen for a few minutes if we grab him. Or
anytime we can talk to Dat Nguyen, it'd be great. And ask Dad how he did against Texas. I'm sure he has some good thoughts about it. But hey, look, regardless, it's all in good fun, loser guy. Enjoy it. Enjoy your typing.
Loser guy.
Strike out, loser.
Loser guy.
And the worst part of this is the FCA event, and I'm over here calling somebody a loser.
Yeah.
Not being very Christian-like here. No, and HC Liver 82 says, ignore the BS comments. Come on, HC. You know how I roll. I like it because it gets me riled up. It's fun.
The people like it too.
Yeah, I know they do. And honestly, I have met I'll be very honest with you. Everybody I've met has been very nice. Even the Longhorn fans that hate the show, right? They're all very nice in person. Amazing energy in person.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're going to hit a break. When we come back, we'll still be at Traditions. We hope to get Dad at some point. And if not, we'll have Billy Liucci. And we'll catch up with some others here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. And we are back. It is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in this wind tunnel, and we're hanging out at the Traditions Golf Club for the FCA Aggieland FCA Golf Classic, having some fun as the wind is starting to really pick up here. What did I say to upset Bevo's bodyguard? Like, my goodness, the wind's got a little bit. Anyway, we should have Billy here momentarily, and we'll chit-chat with Billy about several topics, one of those being baseball. Aggie baseball, obviously a huge topic. And we will talk some NFL draft as 10 Aggies get drafted, which led the entire country. A&M and Alabama, I believe, had 10. So obviously a great run for both programs. I know both programs wish they had a little bit more success in the postseason, and that's what you build. That's why you get that level of studs in your program. So we'll do that, and we'll also just do some other football topics here on the program. I did not watch a second of NBA playoffs. In fact, I don't think I've watched a second.
Yeah, you're talking to the wrong guy if that's where we're going to go.
I'm just mentioning that I know that the Rockets came back and won.
Yeah. Well, Callie was at that game.
Oh, watched you at the game?
Yeah.
But I do also understand that I didn't see it happen, but I saw the meltdown on Rockets Twitter. Did you see the Game 3 meltdown?
First of all, I didn't know they were losing the series so bad. I thought it was just like it just started, but I didn't see the meltdown.
So my understanding, I might be wrong on my numbers here, but I think they were up 6 with 30 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been more, but I think it was 6, and they ended up losing in Game 3. So and Kevin Durant apparently was not seen on the sidelines. Didn't watch the game.
Is he hurt or something?
He's hurt, but I mean, he was hurt. Yeah, I mean, you would think he would be with his team. He's getting treatment. Yeah, there's plenty of other hours in the day to get treatment. Be with your teammates, buddy. Ever since this whole burner thing, it's been a disaster for Kevin Durant, and he's an interesting player. I know you're not an NBA guy, but the Kevin Durant that played for the Oklahoma City Thunder, that version of him, it's kind of quiet, soft-spoken.
Yeah.
His MVP, like he dedicated to his mom. And maybe he's always been this guy, but like this alter ego that has developed has kind of changed my perception of him.
Fair.
And I know that you don't follow the NBA, so having this conversation will never work. But it's interesting.
Where's Cooper Patterson when you need him?
Right, he's probably just foaming at the mouth to talk about LeBron. But it's interesting. I don't think he's a top 10 player of all time.
Durant?
Mm-hmm. I don't.
David,
I
I
mean, if
agree.
you never play, it seems like I would agree with you.
You agree with me, Cade? Thank you. Somebody who knows a little bit about the NBA. Somebody who's lost to a champion, Cade Bickham, in celebrity one-on-one basketball. I don't think he's top 10. I think another NBA championship, like if he won one with the Rockets, which ain't going to be this year, obviously that would kind of change the conversation. But I was trying to go through who the greatest of all time were, because I heard it. I think Stephen A. Smith was on a show, and he had mentioned that he was right out. Maybe it wasn't Stephen A. I think it was. And I was like, I personally would draft Dirk before Kevin Durant. Am I wrong for that? Cade?
Oh, easily.
Because there's no way Nick knows.
I would easily draft Dirk over Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant falls closer to like the 20 range than he does to the top 10 range. Just because he's never really been like a full number one option on a championship team. Like he was on those championship teams with Curry, but that's that creates a lot of great spacing for him because of Curry's 3-point shooting.
Yeah, the thing about he was the best player on that team, right? Even though they had won championships without him before, and oh, by the way, the season after was an incredible run by Curry, but he was their best player, and he actually played some defense on that run. But I think you're right. He has to be surrounded by certain types of players for him to be the alpha. But anyway, that's enough NBA talk, because I just found it interesting that the way they lost that game and then came back and won yesterday, but it's still a very long road to get back into it. Anyway, we're here at the FCA Aggieland Golf Classic at Traditions. Billy Liucci joining us here for the remainder of the program. Mr. Liucci, how are you?
I'm good, David. How are you?
I'm good. Thought we
ran into some people on the walk-in.
Gary Blair?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
Amber. Formerly Amber Ganatzig.
Okay.
We talked a little Aggie soccer, and we talked a little. Actually, we did not talk women's basketball with Coach Blair.
Well, he came on
we
the show.
We just talked about who was golfing.
Okay. Well, I thought we could start off with Aggie baseball. Another great weekend. And the thing that I found was this was not a weekend where they mashed their way to victory. They obviously had their offense, but this was more of an even keel approach, if you will.
Well, I mean, balanced, yeah. And they also, they ran into a great pitcher on Friday night and then a pitcher with even better stuff on Saturday and got to him. And I thought got bat to ball pretty good on Friday night. They had some – it wasn't like they were just – I mean, credit the pitcher. He had a great game. But, I mean, they faced some real pitching. And really – these last 2 weekends, even in Baton Rouge, but they're grinding out and scoring enough to win. It's not those 12, 14 run outbursts, but you're not going to, I mean, in the SEC, when you get into postseason, you're not going to you're going to run into pitching that you're not going to be able to do that to. And then as soon as that pitcher's not up to snuff, you're going to see him do it. But I thought it was a terrific all around. You still, what'd you do? You hit 4 home runs Saturday, hit a couple yesterday. What'd they score? Yesterday they had 5
runs.
8.
Yeah.
Was it 8 on Saturday?
So I think the entire series was 15-14 between the two teams.
Yeah. I think there was 8, 5, and 2. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just to score 8 on Saturday and hit 4 home runs and then come back. And again, like the pitching to me, the pitching was Jorian. The stories were the pitching, Jorian Wilson and Grahovic continuing to do what Gavin does. But Jorian, the last 2 weeks, to hit, 4 home runs in these last 2 series on the road, a freshman, to go into Death Valley, Alex Box, and go into Gainesville, and you hit 4 home runs, and you made that amazing. It wasn't so much how the play he made to throw him out at the plate was incredible for a lot of reasons, but just the standpoint that, he didn't even kind of circle that ball, and momentum wasn't carrying him anywhere, and to be able to turn and throw that thing the way he did, but also the moment that it was, right? I mean, that's 4-1 at the time. It wasn't 5. That's 4-1. They got 2 on. If that run scores, it's 4-2. You got another guy coming up to the plate now as it would have been as the tying run again. Right. You'd have had the guy on third. Like it was an inning killing, hope killing
momentum
throw. Florida, the game was over essentially on that throw. They could have had a 3-run ninth and then Bear hit it, and they had to have a 4-run ninth, but that ended their hopes. If you were a fan of Florida, if you were in that dugout, you're like, okay, we're about to rally. Boom. Okay, now we're down to our last 3 outs. I mean, it was a momentum killer. So, but the real momentum killer is Aiden Sims. Just the way he's been pitching has been incredible.
Well, he's 8-0. Gavin Lyons is 8-0.
Gavin Lyons has been. I mean, that duo and then Freshcorn, what he's been doing when you call on him to get, what is this, the second weekend in a row? He's got a 7-out save.
Yeah.
He's been. I mean, like those 3 have really stood out. But it's also, I think it's a little, it's contagious too. And look, you hold Florida to. What would they score in the last 2 games? 3 runs.
Yep. On
their home field, and I know they're not they're not your typical Florida 4 runs. They're not your typical Florida offense, right? Oh yeah, they had a 9th inning run the other day. 5 runs. Was it 5?
Yeah, 5 runs. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, they had a 9th inning run the other day, but yeah, like you hold that offense completely down. You did the same thing. You gave up 8 the entire series to LSU. They've had 2 weekends of terrific pitching. And I say 2, they had really good pitching in the 2 games against Texas. I know they gave up 7, was it 9-8 or 8-7 the first game? They gave up 7 or 8 runs in game 1, a couple late home runs, but they still had some real quality pitching efforts in that game.
Yes, they did.
And then especially on Saturday when they jumped out to that 8-1 lead and just never let Texas even think they were getting into that baseball game. So, I mean, I think that they've had really good pitching. I mean, it's almost like you go back to that Vandy. They smoked you on Friday night it was Thursday night, I think. They smoked you. And then in that doubleheader, Nick, what was the total runs? I know one game they held them to 1, and I think it was 4.
Right.
5 runs in a doubleheader that day, and I think they've pitched really, really well ever since then on the weekends. They've been, I mean, we're wired to think one thing, but the reality is they've really pitched pretty well all year, but really since that Vandy series, they've turned it on, I think, to a whole nother level.
And let's be honest, even that Oklahoma series, there were moments in that series to start off, in the way they bounced back in the last game against Georgia. And again, this team will find its groove in every series. And now, Billy, I think my opinion of them from, man, they could be really good too. No. It's not they could be really good. They are really good.
Yeah, no, they are. They're a top, I don't know where to cut. I mean, I think they're a top 8 team.
They're 7
in college baseball right now.
D1 baseball.
And you could make a case that they should be ranked higher. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and fight over it, but they could be a spot or 2 higher in there. They could be a top 5 team in the rankings based on what they've done. But you just watch them, and if you start paying attention to the pitching efforts they're getting, and I know, we're kind of like gun shy on that, but they figured it out. They figured out the formula. You move Sims to Saturday, and they figured out what Lyons is, and Fresh Corn's role, and how far can he go, and how many times. I mean, like, to me, they figured it out. And then Sadeo and Moss are still wild cards. I think they've settled down some, but you never know when one of them could go out there and get you 6. That's going to happen at some point in a key game and a key moment too. So, and if that can be Sadeo, then what does that do for you for the rest of the weekend? If we can get one of those on one of these Friday nights here coming up in these last 3 series, because obviously these next 3 are brutally tough. I mean, you look at RPIs, you look at the rankings, you look at the SEC standings. It's 2 national championship programs out of Mississippi, and then it's an Auburn team that's really been in the super regional kind of mix for I don't know how many years now, but they've been a top 15 program for a handful of years now. So you're fighting really. I don't know about Ole Miss if they could get. They're going to be probably a regional host. I think they might not if you go into Oxford and beat them, but they're fighting for a regional berth or host berth. But Mississippi State and Auburn are 2 teams that you might be battling for that top 8 seed. So these are massive, massive series coming up. And by the way, you're also a half game out of first place for an SEC title. And I know in this sport that tends to be secondary to top 8 seed, but it's there. It's there, and there is a trophy for it. And you has A&M. I don't think. Maybe did Childress win one right at the beginning? But to win an SEC baseball title would be something. Nick's not paying attention. He could have looked it up for me. But Zane probably knows. Well, you guys have me using these recycled earphones. But go ahead.
Oh, we wiped them now.
I'm sure you did.
We did.
I'm sure you did. What?
The pink is for you.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, he knows. He knows who his boss is.
No,
it's
crazy.
They're still not at national seed, but basically, Billy, 3-4 more wins, and they should legitimately be on that. Because 18 wins? They have 14 right now. 18-ish wins is kind of that mythical number.
It's so hard to tell right now because it's such a crowd. Yeah, it is normally, but it's such a crowded bunching. I do think because everybody. Like Georgia has a fairly easy path the rest of the way, but still people have to play each other, so a lot can happen. I think 18. To me, in my opinion, like if you go 18 and 11 in A&M's case, I think you would be no worse than 3rd in the SEC with that record. Mm-hmm. But that's not a sure thing. But I just think everybody playing each other like. Texas has a much easier path the rest of the way. Now, this wasn't like last year where they kind of had a totally cush schedule. I do think, look, away from home, they've been a lot different. They're a lot better at home, which is a lot of college sports teams, but I think them more so than most. But their last 3 series are Mississippi State at home and Tennessee on the road, and then Missouri at home. So that Missouri one, and again, A&M's played them. Now, Texas got Missouri and South Carolina, the 2 worst in the SEC, right? Georgia's got LSU, who's reeling. A&M played them too, and they've got Kentucky, who's reeling. And I think they play Auburn. So certainly A&M's got the toughest 9-game path. But guess what? They just played a really tough, what we were told was a brutally tough 3-series stretch.
Heck,
and they went 7-1. They went 7-1, and look, they haven't trailed very much at all in those 8 games either. Obviously, the majority of the Florida game Friday night. I mean, they were down. They were trailing for like an inning on Saturday, and then on Sunday, Sunday they weren't, were they?
No.
And then LSU, they completely controlled that series from wire to wire, and Texas, they probably fell behind. I think they fell behind in like the 6th inning of game 1, and didn't trail from that point on. And if I'm not mistaken, Nick, they didn't trail in the LSU series.
I don't remember them trailing in the LSU series.
They tied it up a couple times. And so, I mean, I'm not saying they're just throttling these teams, but they're controlling baseball games on every level against 2 teams that a lot of people think can go to Omaha, including Florida because of that pitching. I mean, I know they've dropped 2 series in a row now, but prior to this series, people were saying, "Oh, Florida." You would see the projections, and a lot of people still had them in there.
Yep.
So anyway, they're playing great ball. It's fun to watch. It's fun to stay dialed in all weekend when they're on the road. It's great to get out to Bluebell like we're going to do this weekend. I know Bronny's in shambles right now. His arch nemesis is returning. You know, you're smiling, but you have no idea what I'm talking about.
I'm trying to pretend like I do. Do you know?
Y'all don't know his arch nemesis that's coming back in town this weekend?
Who is it?
It's his biggest fear. It's what haunts his nightmares. He can't get it out of his head. And he never thought this visitor. Yep. He never thought in May that the north wind would return, but it looks like we're getting a front coming through. So he's going to have a real mental hurdle that I think, say Zane Texan, north wind, Bronny versus north wind.
So Bronny versus the north wind, and Luke versus that one referee that A&M never beat. Those are the 2 big things.
Yeah, it is. It really is. They're like living. Talk about rent free. Mother Nature's got it just should be charging Bronny right now.
Well, we got Luke trying to track down Dat Nguyen, so he might get tackled.
Perfect.
All right, way to break. We'll come back. I want to talk some NFL draft with Billy on the other side. Let's talk about Guaranty Bank and Trust. They were established back in 1913. They have over a century of experience serving Texas as one of the most respected and beloved community banks. They serve Aggie land. They want to be your number 1 community bank. They got 3 locations in Texas, in Bryan College Station, but they're all over Texas. I've told you about the one in Dallas on 75. I saw the other one on the Dallas North Tollway this past weekend. They're all over Houston as well. You name it, they are in this area. So if you listen to this show, you just know that you're going to have 33 locations from East Texas to DFW to Houston, Central Texas, and as I mentioned, right here in Bryan College Station. Wherever you are in Texas, Guaranty Bank and Trust is going to make local decisions with people that you know and that you trust. They grow stronger for the community. They want to make sure that they are alongside those Texas homeowners and supporting you in financial education, home ownership, local business, nonprofit efforts, everything right here in this awesome community. Known for their exceptional relationship-focused banking, so whether you're buying a home, running a business, or beginning your financial journey, they are your Aggieland Community Bank. Check out the website, gnty.com. That is gnty.com, or go to, just go to gnty.com. Guaranty Bank and Trust, division of Glacier Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Hanging out at Traditions Club here for the FCA Aggieland Golf Tournament. David Nuño, Billy Liucci here out of number 3 of the program. Luch, let's turn our attention to the NFL draft. 10 guys getting drafted. How about that round 2, though? I mean, we talked KC on Friday, obviously, but that round 2, and Nate Borkacher, 50 picks higher than people had anticipated. Congrats to him.
I think in some instances, like 100. Yeah. I know what my scouts were telling me, and I've been writing about it, that like his stock was really rising from combine, well, obviously from his season, but combine to pro day. And I had one specific scout telling me, like, man, and I know I wrote that the Cowboys were really interested, and he in on Yedem. And then I had another scout from another team tell me, we're really debating drafted. If it gets to round 3, we're going to have a discussion about him, like that he might be the guy in the 3rd round. What no one I talked to thought he would go in the 2nd, and that specific scout texted me like LOL when he went in the 2nd, not laughing about him going, but like
told you
LOL. We were gonna try to take him. Oh. How ridiculous is that? Because they thought they could get him in the 3rd because he might be like later 3rd or 4th.
Right.
So he kind of was more of like a FML on that more than an LOL. He's like, LOL, unbelievable. Like, because they were prepared to take him in the 3rd. So, I mean, it wasn't – I thought he would go day 2, 3rd, 4th, but probably 3rd. What I was not expecting at all was 2nd, which was awesome. I mean – a 2nd round tight end. I mean, if you think about it, I think that's the round Martellus Bennett went in. He might have gone 3rd. Dan Campbell went 3rd round. When did Jace Sternberger go, Nick? Was that 3rd round as well? I want to say 3rd. So, like, he's in some really – look up Martellus Bennett and Jace Sternberger. If I'm not mistaken, Martellus might have gone 2nd and Jace 3rd. But Nate Borkacher – Jace went 3rd. Okay, Jace went 3rd. Yeah, for Nate to go 2nd round, like, how cool for him.
Martellus was 2nd round.
2nd round. So he went in the same round as Martellus Bennett and a round higher than Jace Sternberger, who to me – And Dan was a blocking tight end even at A&M because there was a guy named Derek Spiller that existed. Dan was Derek Spiller, who was a phenomenal pass-catching tight end at A&M, and he was like a Kellen Winslow Jr. before there was Kellen Winslow Jr. And then you had he blocked for alongside Jeremy Shockey with the Giants, and then Jason Witten with the Cowboys. So kind of your consummate blocking tight end, then went to Detroit and caught a bunch of passes, so they decided to hire him as head coach. But those are kind of some of your, since I've been at A&M, like the best tight ends I've seen play for the Aggies in terms of like NFL type guys. And sure enough, like he's drafted as high as any of them. I did not see, I think Aggie fans very quickly appreciated how good he was. I think I said it when A&M signed him, that like, hey, they're really excited about this guy. I think there's lessons to be learned in a lot of these draft picks, starting with KC Concepcion, when there were people that had other guys they wanted over KC. What no one ever knew is that Carnell Tate was considering going into the portal, and I think there were some connections there. It was a top 5 pick. No one was sweating that. Everybody was sweating Nick Anderson. They were sweating the guy that went to Nebraska from Kentucky, that Barian Brown who went to LSU, and Micah Hudson. Everyone was sweating, and here's Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver, who people made even less of a fuss over. And look what they've done. And look at Concepcion going round 1. There never should have been. He should have been lauded as this massive portal get because of what he did. Borkacher is a guy, like, if you go back and look at Nate and Jace, when they were added to, when they decided to come to A&M, Jace from Kansas and Nate from Nebraska, no one, if we're just being real honest, no one really cared. And everybody wanted Claire from Purdue, Max Claire, who went to Ohio State. Guess who got drafted a few spots ahead of him? Nate Borkacher. So you just never know in this portal era. And I just think it's cool that we can start keeping score. And if you're Mike Elko, it's not only the selling points, not only the selling points or whatever you want it to be. It's not just the 10 draft picks. It is these portal guys. Yeah. And like, okay, so KC, even though it didn't come with the fanfare of a Cam Coleman, or I'd say even Isaiah Horton, his numbers and everything, and who was recruiting him said he should have been a high round pick. Now it worked out and they utilized him right, and he helped them win a lot of games. But Borkacher, Will Lee was not, he was the first portal addition for Elko. He was not like tearing it up at K-State.
No, he was not.
He was not their full-time guy there that last year. And 2 years at A&M NFL. Cassius Howell, again, another one that A&M fans, and I get it, the only reason I wasn't is because I heard on the inside how excited they were about Cassius Howell. So I had some kind of unfair insider trading in terms of having knowledge of Cassius that fans wouldn't.
Yep.
I understand, like, oh, he's Bowling Green. Okay, yeah, great, but I want this guy and this guy and that guy and that guy. Well, he's 2 years at A&M. He's the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Almost gets in the first round. He's very early second. Armaje Reed-Adams comes from Kansas. No one really thought much of him there in terms of an NFL prospect. He gets drafted. Who am I forgetting there? Nate, Will, Cassius,
Tyler.
And Tyler Onyedem. Oh, now, Onyedem was an interesting one because he had a really good 2023. And then not as good. I think a lot of people said he was kind of out of position. there at Iowa State in his last year at Iowa State, comes to A&M, ends up being a third-round pick. So there's a ton of player development going on right now within this program that I think just it speaks volumes. And you don't think of player development when you think of portal guys, but there was. When you look at Nate, you look at Will, you look at Cassius.
Yep.
There's a ton. Now there's the Nick Scorton and the Casey Concepcion, and that's fine. Mario Craver, this is what you're seeing as player development.
Yes, it is.
Here at Texas A&M. Des Ricks is player development. He's going to be a 3-year guy and off to the NFL after kind of sitting at Bama. So there's that, and then there's the actual throughout your system development. So great stories like Bisantis, who actually went into the portal. A great story like Albert Regis, who also went higher than expected in round 3. So I think what they're doing is pretty impressive. It's actually really impressive to go from 3 to 10.
Okay.
To go from 3 to 10 in 1 year. And Elko said it before the season. Are you panicking?
Well, I don't know if we should hit a break or just keep tap dancing because I think we might get Dat Nguyen. Oh, he's coming here? Okay, cool. So we should be getting that
so
here.
Keep it here. Okay.
Keep it here. The other thing.
Well, ask Dad about the draft. I believe Dat was a third rounder himself. Should have been a first, but that's just me.
Well, Billy, the other thing is when we're talking about development from guys here at Texas A&M, and I look at some of the undrafted free agent guys, and like Le'Veon, to me, if he doesn't get hurt, he's drafted, right?
1,000,000%.
Scooby, same thing, I believe.
I will say with running backs, I was shocked. Those two dudes from Penn State, Singleton, and I think they were studs. Like every time I'd watch Penn State, even 2 years ago when they went to the semifinal, like those dudes were beasts. And they both went in like the 5th round. The running back position is so devalued. But yes, to answer your question, 100% he gets drafted. That was just 1,000% due to the knee injuries, and that's it.
Yep.
So yeah, Torian. Look, I don't know that Torian knew that he might not get drafted. Everybody I talked to in the NFL said late round or free agent. Now, everyone I talked to in the NFL after his pro day felt like he may have helped himself, and we're thinking start paying attention around round 6 to that one. They felt like somebody will take him because he's a great person. He's a character dude. He's a hard worker. You can't tell the guy he can't do it. He was a team captain. He's very productive on the field, and he ran a lot better than people thought he would run at his pro day. So that one was a little surprising to me, but again, he might have landed in a better spot with the Broncos than he would been had some random team drafted him. So I'm sure his agent helped him out to find a nice landing spot where he fits in the defensive scheme and would have a chance to play. But I think Torian should have gotten drafted. Some people say he shouldn't have come out early. He could have come back to A&M and made, I don't know how much. I think there was a difference kind of in what he would have commanded to come back versus, so I think he made the right decision. And normally I will say when a guy doesn't get drafted, they made the wrong decision. But I think Torian mentally was just ready to, I think you have to appreciate guys like an athlete whose lifelong dream it is to get to that level.
Yeah.
So if he's in a little bit more of a rush to get there than you or I or Mike Elko or anybody thinks he should be, who are we to say? You can arm him with all the information if you're Elko or if you're the NFL, say, hey, you're taking a risk here. Here's why. But it's a lifelong dream, and he's going to fulfill it when he goes out there on the field in Denver for these mini camps.
But think about it. That's what Torian's all about. He's been doubted his entire career, right? Yeah. He people have not looked at him in that light. So I think that's what also fuels him. And he's got an opportunity to make a name for himself in Denver. He's going to find a way to do it.
I'd love to see it. Again, I would have loved more to see him come back at making up a number like 750,000 and play 1 year and be a captain, preseason All-SEC and yada, yada. But that's me. That's not him.
Right.
So, I support him. And I think Tyrell Dodson is another guy is Tyrell's another guy who, in fact, it was Elko and Jimbo trying to convince him to stay. And I forget if he was a free agent or a 7th-round pick, but he went pretty late. In theory, should have come back for another year. It didn't work out the way it was supposed to. And he he's on Zoom. Okay. Go to Dat.
Dat Nguyen joining us
Speaking of
here.
linebackers.
What's up, Dat? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, guys. How are you guys doing?
Wonderful. Thanks so much for joining us.
Dad, are you keeping Phil Bennett in check out there, or is he telling too many stories, spreading too many rumors?
Hey, Phil's right here, right next to me. He heard the question, Billy. He can share more stories with us here, too. He can join us if you have time.
I'm going to come find y'all. Yeah, I'm going to come find y'all in a minute.
All right.
Hey, Dad, first off, just if you can, talk a little bit about your involvement with FCA. I know something you're very passionate about and something you've been involved in for a long time.
Yeah, so FCA has always been part of me, really, in my life since I got to college. I remember Bill, myself, and a few other players kind of get together and did Bible study. And for us to come back and have a chance to impact younger kids to learn about Jesus Christ, and for us to be out here and seeing how really Bill Johnson has built this program here in the Brazos Valley with Aggie Land FCA. So I'm always been a part of with Bill. I believe in Bill, and I believe in the process he's doing. So for me, just be back and be a part of it, it's pretty phenomenal.
Dad, I want to ask you about the draft yesterday. 10 Aggies getting drafted, or this over the weekend, I should say. How surprising was it to see that number? You know, A&M leading the pack, and is this a sign of things to come?
Well, I think that's just always a good sign when you get players getting drafted, especially it's not the late rounds. It seems like we were solid from 2, 3, and 4, which is really a lot of players that will come and play a long time. Obviously, when you go in the process of the draft, I think a lot of teams draft 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round players. They know that there's going to be a future for them, even though they don't need them right away. They come in to be a role player and then eventually become a starter. So for Aggies, I think that's a big job great job that Coach Elko has done and developed these guys and giving guys an opportunity. So hopefully we can continue that as we move forward.
It really reminded me, Dad, when you're saying that, in my head, I was thinking about that 98 team. And I don't think it's coincidence that, you know, this team and what they accomplished this year and the 98 team, what you guys accomplished, and I'd throw the 2012 team in there as well. But, like, part of it is that heart and that you know, refusal to be denied, let's say, that I saw in all 3 of those teams. But it also does, when you have the most talent and the NFL players, and you've done the recruiting and the player development that RC did, that Sumlin did, and now that Elko's doing, it like you said, that draft, it was what? You, Rich, Dan, Rex. I'm trying to think of people going in that, like you said, that
Tucker,
2nd, 3rd round
Warwick,
range.
yeah.
Warwick. Shane. Yeah, it's a great point.
Yeah. So relating to your message, I think it's what Coach Elko's doing. I think it starts with the top and how he's setting the program, setting the standard, and then the players are falling through, and you see all these players come through. And the way we performed this year was a fun year. It was a great year. I hope we can duplicate that again this season. So we're looking forward to the season. I'm excited. I didn't realize how many great offensive linemen we had until the draft, but it's making the people in the NFL knows that where they need to go to get some good players.
Dad, we appreciate it, man. Enjoy the rest of the outing, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, we'll see you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, D-Win.
See you. Dat Nguyen here on TexAgs Live. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with some more here on TexAgs from Traditions Club. Well, welcome back to Traditions Club as we are enjoying the Aggieland FCA golf event. Billy and Nuño. Billy, so we did a segment on the draft. Thank goodness, that we had Dat Nguyen on the show. I do want to talk about next year's draft.
Why'd you not want to, you just wanted to thank goodness and not God for that
I
one?
love God.
Or what about thanking Nick Savage for that one?
I'm going to
Cade Bickham or Luke Evangelist.
Or Callie and Kayla. And well, sorry to tell you, tomorrow OB has a meeting, so Luke Evangelist will be doing part of the Go Hour.
Oh, wow.
So we got some basketball additions to talk about. The low hour. Anyway, who are we talking about in the draft next year, Billy? You told us early in the process some names, and you were right.
Next year is harder to nail down, and you know why? Because there's a lot of guys that have multiple seasons left that I think, let's say somebody like Wilkin Formby or Tyree Adams, the two transfer tackles, right? If either of them have a really good season,
they could be in the NFL.
They could absolutely be get draft grades and be projected to go, and maybe even in those middle rounds we're talking about, maybe even higher, whatever. But because they have years left, you're going to do everything you can to keep them in the way of NIL. So it's hard to nail down who's going to do what, but DJ Hicks, TJ Searcy, I'm hearing a lot of good things about Hicks is in kind of that, that second, third, fourth. I've had some people tell me top 50 pick. I've had others tell me top 100. Obviously, that's TBD, but the scouts are all over him. Des Ricks, Ratcliffe, Dalton Brooks. I know I'm going to leave somebody out, Damian Sanford. And just, if anyone heard my update or read my update the other day, I'm way more on the optimistic side than what was being reported elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And then everybody tried to jump on that and run with that. And I thought that was, in my opinion, inaccurate. And on the pessimistic side, I think it's I just say stay tuned. And I, like I said, back up off the cliff on the Sanford thing. Mike Elko's not going to give you any kind of timeline before they get like an exact timeline, but nature of the injury, I think it wasn't. It could have been far worse. I'll put it that way.
Right.
In terms of who else, the old lineman we talked about, Mark Nebu is a guy. I think Isaiah Horton,
the wide receivers, right?
Mario Craver, even though he'd have 2 years left as well. But I mean, those are kind of the ones that jump out at me in the early going. Maybe Mims, who's got 1 year left from North Carolina. So there's a lot. Like, do I think they'll get to 10? No, but the reason I'll say that is because I think if everyone that could go would go, then I think they'd get to 10. But I think A&M will convince a couple of those guys, maybe it's 2 or 3 of them to stay, like they did with Besantis, and Reed Adams, and I'm trying to think of who all stayed for this year.
Will Lee?
Will Lee was one. Scooby, who didn't get drafted. Scooby's deal, too, was injury related.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Scooby did nothing to help himself at any point, through the process, in terms of moving up into that draft, unfortunately. But he could have gone out a year ago. I mentioned Armage. Besantis was another one. So could they get there? Yeah, I think it'll be more like Texas, though, where there were 2 or 3 Longhorns this year that could have gone, that stayed and probably cashed in a nice NIL ticket to do so. So I think that will be more like A&M a year from now. But I certainly see them in that 7+ range again next season.
Yep. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll close it out here from Traditions Club. It's TexAgs Live. Back here at Traditions Club for the FCA Aggieland Golf Classic. Billy Liucci, David Nuño closing it out. Billy, not only did we have some big news in the basketball world for Bucky, and I'm sure Luke and I will talk about that tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Kennedy Brown commits to A&M, another 5-star.
And yeah, Bucky and that staff are white hot. Luke's done a great job of covering it step by step. I feel like we've been talking every single day. It's been fun to follow. But yeah, Kennedy Brown, man, wow. He's been trending A&M's way for a while, and the good news is so are a few other 5-stars, and Mike Elko and company have a way of, when they're trending that way for a while, getting them way more often than not. They fall A&M's way when they follow this pattern, and Kennedy's not the only one on that track, but man, what a get. Kennedy Brown I think he's an absolute stud, like ready-made for college. He's a mountain of a young man at tackle, and he's only going to get bigger, and he's athletic and agile, and I think he can move people. And 5-star tackles tend to, like, they don't hand that label out to too many.
Yep.
For some reason, to me, I think they have a way of working out. You look at recent history here, I think in the state, and look, the Aggies just missed out a few years ago on like Kelvin Banks. I think Kennedy Brown is that level of, like, you think of like Jake Matthews and Luke Jokel, like this very early, depending on your situation, but to come in, boom, he's ready to go and a multi-year starter and onto the NFL as a high draft pick. That is a centerpiece to your class. And I think, Adam Cushing just had 4 guys drafted. It's not a coincidence that a day later they land a 5-star offensive lineman. I don't think he's going to be the only 5-star offensive lineman they land. And I think this class already, with 3 blockers, looks really good. And like I said, I think you're going to add another 5-star piece, and there's like 3 options out there. So I feel very good about them getting one of those 3. Right now today, like there's Mark Matthews is one I feel really good about out of Florida. So, I mean, what Elko and Cushing and this entire Aggie staff are doing on the recruiting front right now. Look, people are scared of a number 1 class around here. I understand why, but you shouldn't be. Whether it's number 1, number 2, number 3, this class is going to rank really, really highly. High school recruiting does still matter. You look at this A&M football team, you look at this draft that they just had, you look at the guys that you're expected to star on this year's team. The high school recruiting is still a big deal, even though the portal makes it, I think, maybe less of an anxious thing. It's still very important to win and win big, and they don't come much bigger than Kennedy Brown. They really don't.
Thank you, Billy. Appreciate you. Tomorrow on the show, Bob Sturm is going to join us, Garrett Chadwell as well. It's TexAgs Live. We'll see you mañana.